right, in today's session, I want to talk about placing capital or investing in real estate more passively, okay? So, as a lot of you know, my name's Luther Wilson III. I work for a small brokerage called Upside Property Services. I'm a licensed real estate broker here in Kansas City, Missouri, and I invest in real estate and I help other people do the same thing, all right? And by the way, today's Monday, it's November 18th, 2024. Excuse my voice, I was a little under the weather and most of it is back now, but so bear with me, I might keep it a little bit short today, all right? And so 3 ways that capital investors or real estate investors can invest or place that capital more passively, okay? And so, you know, going through the years, my experience as a real estate pro, working with a lot of different investors, working with multiple partners during that time frame, lot of realizations, lots of challenges and obstacles that we've had to work through, and it's you know, kind of brought me full circle to where we're at today. And I realized that there's a lot of misconceptions and misunderstandings when it comes to real estate and real estate investing, okay? Some of those biggest ones being how much it really takes, how much it really costs, right? How long it can take to get through certain things, projects, funding, financing, and so forth. And then what it's like to operate and manage a real estate investing business or real estate investing firm, okay? And you can check out some of my past videos where I dig into some of those things. I talk about capital, I talk about strategy, and I talk about operations, and it ties in together. And so what I've seen a lot of times is people can come at it from different angles. Sometimes people have some capital. It could be a lump sum from a retirement account or a settlement or a bonus at work or something like that, or just people work their job and saved up for years and they want to invest in real estate and they get into it, but they don't necessarily have, you know, the experience, let alone really the time or the know-how or the energy to be able to make that happen effectively, okay? So that's one way that a lot of people get into it. Another way that I think of, very common for people to get into it, is from the deal finding phase, where you are marketing to motivated sellers. You could be a wholesaler, you could be a realtor, you may be another type of real estate practitioner, maybe a lender or a property manager or a contractor. And you come in it from the operational standpoint where you are on the ground, you're gaining so much experience and so much knowledge and whatnot going through that process. But, you know, we're limited on capital. That's where I started, right? And you have to figure out, we have to figure out how we can put those two together. And that's something that I've been looking at more so the last 2 to 4 years, especially more than I ever have, is being able to combine not just the operations and the capital, but the strategy as well, as I mentioned earlier. And I think a great way to do that, a lot of investors can do it more passively. It may not be completely passive, but those with capital can work together with those that have the operational strategy experience, that type of thing. And so 3 ways that people can do that is through joint ventures, syndications, and private lending, okay? And I'm gonna touch briefly on all 3 of them, and then maybe at some point do a deep dive individually, do a video on each one, except for maybe the private lending, because you can check out some of my past YouTube videos where I talk about that quite often. And so I'll definitely want to get more into the joint venture partnerships as well as syndications. Okay, so I did a little research and I've been rubbing elbows with some different players in the multifamily and commercial space. My background is mostly residential single family homes, okay? And I realized that joint ventures are partnerships and syndications are partnerships as well, okay? The difference between a joint venture and a syndication. The joint venture may be, a one-off investor, or me and one or two other investors putting an entity together. A lot of times one partner or two of the partners out of the three brings in the capital, and then the second or third investor is the operator, boots on the ground, handles the day-to-day of the, managing the real estate investing firm, right? So that compared to syndication, on a syndication, you got general partners and you got limited partners. The general partners are like the operators who do the day-to-day, the boots on the ground, acquisition and so forth. And the limited partners are those that just put up the money, okay? And so two big differences that I see there between the joint venture and the syndication partnerships. The syndication partnerships, the limited partners are quite a bit more hands-off, whereas on a smaller outfit or doing partnerships on a smaller scale, the joint venture partners may be quite a bit more involved, okay? Syndications, all right, and I had to look at the difference between a syndication and a hedge fund, because there's some differences there. And I don't want to get too far off track, but the syndication is specifically for real estate. The hedge fund could be more risky, it could be more volatile, and it could be for investments outside of real estate more so too, okay? So, and FYI, up to this point, what I've been doing and what I see a lot of my clients have done is the JV partnership. That seems to be the simplest, easiest to put together, and for investors that, don't necessarily want to pool their money, or they may not have access to quite as much, that's the way to go. And then from there, the syndications tends to be a larger number of investors. It could be 10, 20, 30 plus investors. And a lot of times it's for larger multifamily and commercial type deals, okay? And so for those real estate investors, for those practitioners out there, part of my goal is to educate, inspire, and collaborate. So that's what I'm doing. So hopefully this will encourage you and you can see some opportunities to make it happen in your market, helping you to grow. Working, for the real estate practitioners, it's huge because it'll help you better understand what your investor clients are going through. And then also, if you see an opportunity and you want to take your business to the next level, you want to get in on some deals, it'll help you go from there. All right. And then for the investors that want to invest more passively, this may illuminate some things and help you to see an opportunity with an agent or maybe a contractor or property manager in your market. And if you want to see more sustainable results, okay, that's another key point that I cannot not mention, right? Is investors, a lot of the investors that I've worked with, especially with my background in property management, I'm in a position, or I was in a position where I might have been their second or third or fourth property manager. And in my head, and I'm thinking, all right, if that investor would have just partnered with me or somebody else who could handle the operations, sure, they're getting a smaller piece of the pie or they're splitting the pie somehow, but how much more efficient could that have been, right? It actually might work out better. In fact, I think it does. At least it has for my partners. The partners that I've worked with and the clients that I've had, those that are willing to pay to play, they're willing to split, they're willing to pay up front, they're willing to pay for good services, they end up making more over time, and their investments end up performing better. and it just ticks a lot smoother. It's again, back to the misconceptions and the misunderstandings. It seems a little bit counterintuitive, right? Because as investors, we want to get the cheapest properties. We want the best deal. We're going to negotiate the commission or the wholesale fee. We're going to get bids from the contractors and see who has the lowest bid, and then on and on. And it just kind of creates a certain thing that really, I think, creates some resentment from, if it's not handled appropriately, it can lead to failure and resentment amongst you and your partners and whoever's trying to help you win. Okay, so what I've done a lot, and I didn't even realize it was what I was doing, was the joint venture partnerships. Okay, an LLC gets created. All right, you got your game plan. A lot of times, you got the operator and the capital investor. You got the capital investor and you got the managing investor, and it's flowed so much more smoothly than a lot of other things that I've seen in real estate. So I'm gonna cut it right there. All right. Thank you for tuning in. Okay. Stay plugged in. I'm active on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Every week I'm dropping content. Okay. So if you want to learn more about how you can invest or how you can place capital, tap in with us. All right. Have a good day. Peace.